What are some interesting life hacks for saving money? I don't smoke but live my financial life as a smoker. Meaning every Monday I transfer the sum of 1 week's worth of cigarettes to my savings account. If people that earn less than me can afford smoking, so can I. This is a great idea. My husband and I used to smoke, but gave it up for our health and because it was adjective expensive. That savings disappears quickly to other things. I will have to start doing this. Don't buy the cheapest option. Often the middle-priced option will be the best value. Things that are too cheap are worth what you paid for them. Agree 100%. I used to be a dollar store junkie. It took me forever to realize I was basically just throwing handfuls of dollar bills in the trash, and cluttering my home with garbage products. I try to cost things as portions of better, or more fulfilling things, i.e. a coffee is 1/10 of a new game. 10 meals out is a weekend away, etc. I've also heard to relate it to your hourly rate. So if you make $15 an hour, you ask yourself if the Starbucks is really worth 20 minutes of your time. I found as my hourly rate goes up, that's much less effective though. Not much of a hack, but cook your meals at home. I am the laziest asshole on earth and as a result, I was spending like $20 per day on food just to avoid cooking. You don't realize how it adds up. Even if you just bring your lunch to work every day, it makes a huge difference. I'm still a lazy asshole, but now I just cook a big batch of very basic, simple recipes throughout the week and eat them over a few days. Single pan dish by Brian. Buy chicken breast, carrots, potatoes, onion, and cauliflower/broccoli. Marinate the chicken in something delicious if you like, peel carrots and potatoes. Cut carrots and potatoes into discs, onion into whatever you want. Break apart cauliflower/broccoli. Put it all into a single pan. Line with foil for easy cleanup. Salt/season to taste. Put all the veggies on the pan, drizzle with oil lightly. Put veggies in oven at 375, whatever. Bake for 10 minutes. Take out veggies, lay chicken on top of veggies like a blanket, pour rest of marinade on top of chicken, let it fall on top of the veggies. Remove once chicken becomes cooked through. Cut inside and see if pink turned to white. Drizzle honey over the veggies if you like, cook for 5 more minutes. That's it. You can get all these ingredients for like $20 and make 10 meals out of it easily. That's $2 per meal. Once you feel comfortable with this, experiment with other stuff. This is a nice, hearty meal and gives you a lot of the stuff you need to be healthy and obtain nutrition. I make this for lunch every week, changing up the recipe from time to time. Sometimes sausage, sometimes steak strips. Try buying reusable objects in place of single-use ones. It's better for your wallet and environment. Steel water bottles, reusable K-cups, dish towels instead of paper towels, etc. Over time the costs of little things really add up. Water bottles are a huge one. They don't even have to be steel. Companies/events may give plastic sports bottles away for free, and those can work fine until you can afford an insulated or metal one. Learn how to log into your online banking system and review your statement regularly. You'll see how quickly money flows out for coffee, snacks, and unnecessary purchase. Also set a budget and stick to it. Adding on to this, I set up something called Roundup automatically online through my bank, whereby every purchase I make with my main account is rounded up to the nearest dollar, then that difference is deposited into my savings account. It's worth checking to see if your bank does this as well, as I'll end up saving an extra $20 or $30 a month without noticing. If you can buy a tool to complete a repair for the same price as the repair itself, buy the tool and repair it for free next time. I recently did this with my convertible top. The stitching was coming loose at the seams and a repair was almost as expensive as a new top. I did some research instead and bought a sewing awl, and I finished it in a couple of afternoons. I spent about $30 total for a $1,000 project, and now have a tool that I can use for stitching any sort of thick fabrics. I don't anticipate using it much, but even just one more time and I'll be satisfied. Live as a minimalist. Getting exactly what you need is not suffering the minimalist budget. Edit. The minimalist budget takes a more expanded view of how to be a minimalist. An example from the book: if collecting action figures makes you happy, then why not allocate 5% of your income to it? Why not 10%? Life is short and finding true happiness can be difficult. Sure, you don't need action figures to survive, but if they truly bring you joy, then by all means allocate resources to fulfill your hobby. The book takes notice of not only how to be frugal and save money, but also how to manage other resources in your life. Some of said resources are possibly more important than just money, such as time, spirituality, happiness, etc. When at the grocery, look at the price/odds or whatever unit it is instead of the total price. It's usually posted in one corner. It's not going to save you tons of money, but it does add up. Plus it takes out the guesswork when comparing similar items. Yes, people so often overlook unit price. It matters. Even if it does cost more to buy a larger jar of instant coffee, for example, that's still cheaper than buying the same jar at the rate of the smaller one. Look at store-branded food items. Do you really think Safeway, Kroger, Dollar General, Costco, and Walmart all have independent tuna canning facilities? No. They're sourcing the product from of the big three, or however many, facilities that supply the name brand. This goes for the majority of store-branded items. Make it a game to find out who has what national name product as their store brand product. This is not mine, but the 72-hour rule is pretty damn helpful. Basically, the gist of it is, if you want something that is not a necessity, instead of buying it immediately, add it to a list. In my case I use a spreadsheet, but whatever works, then wait 72 hours. If after 72 hours, you still want it, then you can buy it. It seems that 80 to 90% of the time, after the 72 hours is up, I don't end up buying the item I thought I wanted. The reason I like doing it with a spreadsheet is, I can then at the end of the year, easily add it up, and see how much money I didn't impulsively spend. Usually paychecks are issued every 2 weeks while bills are monthly. You have to pay bills 12 times a year but you get paid 26 times a year, so every year you get 2 extra paychecks. Don't spend that money, use it to pay off debt or put it in the bank. I was getting paid weekly at my last job and it was beautiful. I would pay all my bills with the first check and everything else went straight into savings. I ended up saving like 40% of my salary. Acting broke. Trust me. Nothing helps you save more than acting broke. And there is a way to do that without becoming a mooch. Eat at home if your friends have a dinner plan at an expensive place. Pre-game if you're going clubbing. And if anyone asks you why aren't you eating/drinking/coming for that vacation, just say you're a broke. I learned this the hard way. Because I remember becoming a recluse and slowly stopped socializing, just because my friends always had these extravagant and expensive plans, and I realized it really started weighing down on me. But eventually I learned that there was no shame in wanting to save money/being broke, and definitely none in saying so. If you have any land whatsoever and you aren't growing at least some your own food, plant a fruit tree, etc., you are really missing out. We got 20-ish raspberry canes at an end-of-season auction last year for $1 each. They saved me at least $200 in the first year alone, and they are spreading nicely, filling out the space I planted them in. I was pulling in 100 tomatoes every day at one point this summer. My freezer is full of free soups, and bags of frozen tomatoes. I saved seed, heirlooms, and from here on out, I get free tomato plants forever. If you mulch them heavy with wood chips, they are almost no work. You can make your own compost really easy. It's all a lot less work than you think, and totally free money. Plus, fresh raspberries, tomatoes, peaches, strawberries, they are life-changing. The shit in the store is hollow, tasteless garbage. This year alone, I bet I saved at least $2,000 from food I grew, with zero inputs other than a few hours to drop some compost down, plant, mulch, then pick now and then. Making one extra payment on your mortgage per year will reduce a 30-year mortgage to roughly 17 years. I make it a goal to add 10 to 15% to a mortgage payment. Sometimes, that's easier to digest than thinking about another full payment going out. You can also round up to the nearest $100, or $50, and it'll still take years off of a 30-year/fixed. I have a friend who, at the end of each pay period, moves whatever she has in checking into savings. It doesn't matter if she's got $5 or $50 in the account, it goes into savings the night before payday. This is great until something hits your account right at the sweet spot after you're transferred everything over. I like to keep a safety net in checking, could be $500 or whatever, and everything over that you transfer over. Pay your savings account immediately, and treat it like a bill. Each check $100, $400, $50, whatever you can afford gets put away no matter what. Educate yourself on finance as well. The best way to save money is to be savvy about it in first place. P.S. The amount that they tell you put away, 10%, is not nearly enough. When buying online, leave items in the shopping cart for a while. There is a good chance that the website is tracking this, and will lower the price over time to entice you into buying. I've saved a lot by being patient. Like when I got a surround sound amp for $350 that was listed everywhere for $450 to $500, just by leaving it in the online shopping cart for a week. This also gives you time to decide if you really want it. The amount of things that I have forgotten about or had little interest in buying later is amazing. Easy one: buy your own modem. You can get a good one from Amazon for $100. Internet companies charge you $10, $12 a month to rent yours. Buy your own, return the rented one to internet company, and get that charge removed from your bill. Pays for itself in under a year. Buy second-hand. Today I have secured myself a solid pine desk for my daughter's room, no marks or damage, for £10, and a worn once, 3-piece navy suit for my son to wear at our wedding next year, also for £10. I buy maybe 80% of my stuff second-hand. I bide my time, wait for a bargain, and I have saved so much money over the years. Separate shit out. Use multiple bank accounts. Use one for bullshit money, use one for rent/mortgage/WTF ever, use one for recurring bills, gas, car payment, insurance, bills, etc. You know one easy way to not accidentally blow your rent money on dumb shit? Keep it separate from your go party with Jeff on a Friday night money. Buy defective clothes. They're usually way cheaper than regular clothes, and most of the time you can even tell what's wrong with them. Usually it's just something like the arms being marginally too long or a pattern that was from last season, and even then most people can't tell what's from this and previous seasons. 10% of your paycheck goes into a savings account and 20% to debts. The remainder stays in your checking account to pay bills and feed/entertain yourself. Be disciplined and stick to the plan. If you can, increase the savings percent. When you have enough savings to fulfill an emergency fund, start investing. Calculate if you can afford things using these constraints, and if you can't, then don't purchase them. Not exactly a life hack, but this plan will make you wealthy. If you're in the US and have children in daycare, you can deduct up to $5,000 per year tax-free. My wife's company offers a flexible spending account for this, and they don't reimburse until she turns in receipts. She doesn't ever turn in receipts until late November/early December, so every year around Christmas, we get an extra $5,000 check. Learning how to cook pasta, rice and beans, soups, stews, polenta, grits, etc., really anything that costs very little and can feed a huge family. You save insane amounts of money, even if you are frugal in terms of buying cheaper things from stores, for example $5 sandwich. For that same $5 you can make pasta with butter, cheese, and peas for the whole family. Or make beef stew with barley. Chuck roast is really cheap and delicious in a stew. A mortgage should be your only debt. Save up to pay for everything else upright, including cars, student tuition, trips, and weddings. If you don't have the money for what you want in cash, find another cheaper alternative in the meantime and keep saving. Note: I am a Canadian and I know many people in the United States end up in debt due to surprise illness. I don't know much about this, but I recognize it is a different type of debt. Store brand over-the-counter medications. Allergy meds, Pepto-Bismol, Tums, Motrin, Aleve, Tylenol, you name it, there is a store brand equivalent that is guaranteed to be at least 75% cheaper than the name brand. Just look at the ingredients, they are all the same. Most of them are just Target/CVS/Rite Aid etc. buying time on a name brand company's manufacturing process to make their own version of the same drug for less. If you're low income, apply for food stamps, or whatever your city/state calls the equivalent. Seriously, there's no shame in it. I neglected to apply for several years when I was really struggling, because I had to unlearn the stigma that they had when I was growing up. Times have changed. If you need help, don't be afraid or embarrassed to ask for it. I qualify for the maximum amount where I live. It doesn't cover my monthly food expenses, but it gets me through a few weeks, and I could make it stretch if I really needed to. It never hurts to apply. If you're buying something, for example, deodorant, if there is a value pack versus a singular packaged one, look at the weights and prices of each. It shouldn't be hard to do the math, and see the single one is $1/oz but the value pack is $1.20/oz. Just ran into this yesterday at the grocery store. I've never in my life seen a value pack being more expensive per item than a single. That's the whole point behind buying in bulk. Not sure what kind of stores you go to, but in Europe that would never fly. It's always cheaper per item/kg/liter to buy more of something, for obvious reasons. Maybe if you buy a pack of 2 or 3 of something the price per unit will be the same as buying one, but above that there better be a discount. Look at your bank statement at the end of the month, and see what the recurring things are, monthly payments, regular food place etc., and just look at how much you are spending on them. I often get to the tail end of the month and wonder, where the F has all my money gone? Then I look and think, food and unnecessary payments to stuff I don't need. Makes me want to at least try and cut back.